The Lord is with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Matthew's Gospel, chapter 13, verses 47 to 53. Jesus said to his disciples, "The kingdom of heaven is like a net which was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted out good into the vessel, but threw away the bad. So it will be at the close of age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the furnace of fire. There men will weep and gnash their teeth." "Have you understood all this?" They said to him, "Yes." And he said to them, "Therefore, every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a householder who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old." And when Jesus had finished these parables, he went away from there. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My dear friends, we come to almost the end of all the parables. 7 parables. They were just about 4, 5 or 7 lines of short parables. I'm sure we all will agree that Jesus is a great storyteller. Great storyteller. And it's one great work to tell stories. Instantly, spontaneously, you tell stories. It really inspires people. Have you any time on the spot created a story and told someone? You must try. You must try telling a story. Like once I was coming, you start with once upon a time and then end with, "And they lived happily thereafter." These are the storytellers. But one important aspect when we see the last verse where Jesus says, "Therefore every scribe has been trained for the kingdom of heaven." He has come into this world to establish the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, he is a great storyteller. And great storytellers will be rulers of the world. So if you want to really rule, then you have to be a good storyteller. And that is how they will be inspired by you. And you need to make stories. There are various books available also, how to create a story, how to make a story. And if you look at all the producers and directors and story writers, you see how they prepare a story out of some small little moral or some theme. And here you find Jesus Christ giving us so many parables with a little story of attached to the land, agriculture land. Therefore, he says about the treasure hidden in the field, about the sower, and so many things he tells us. All these stories, sitting there on the boat, he was telling them stories. And today he tells a story about the net. And as preachers, we also tell stories. If you ask me, many of the stories which I tell you is the stories that I won't create. I create by myself. And on the spot, I can also tell you stories. When I go to my nephews and grandnephews, all small children, when I go home, they all come around and I have to tell them. What stories I have to tell them? Ghost stories. All the ghost stories I have to tell them. And they are so interested watching when the ghost is going to come. And that is exactly what you and I will learn when we tell stories, and then they will be waiting for the moral of the story. And today we see Jesus Christ saying about a man who goes for fishing, he throws the net and catches all the fishes. And for me, this pulpit is a net. I throw my net from here upon you. Whatever I preach is my netting, and whatever I catch is because of my preaching. And then I know to separate the good ones and the bad ones. And therefore, for every preacher, the pulpit or the preaching is the fishing net. By our preaching, we inspire you so that you come to the Lord. You experience the Lord in your life. When we throw net, I don't want you to be attracted by me, but rather by Him. Because He has brought me here, and He has made me a fisher of men. And therefore I preach from here to get some fish. So what are you doing, Father Alex? Means I will say I am going fishing. Going fishing? Yeah, I am going preaching. When I go preaching, yes. That is why I always call the vocation director. You have your vocation director in your congregation. The vocation director is a fishing person. They go fishing and finally they get some fish and they come into the novice, and thereafterwards they take the profession. So fishing is a very important aspect in the church. It is everyone's duty. Each one of you should fish. Not just become a nun and then be happy about it. No. How many have you brought? The good ones. And therefore, fishing is a continuous process of the church. That is why the first profession that Jesus gave to Peter, James, and John is, I will make you fishers of men. You and I will continue to be fishing for people.